A white police officer unnecessarily stopped and demanded to check the papers of a black woman, using racist and offensive language. This led Amara Jones, a talented lawyer who has always fought for justice, to refuse to tolerate such abuse. When she decided not to back down, she faced unexpected and harsh treatment. Could she protect her own and her family's rights? Or would she be buried within a system deeply ingrained in society for generations? Follow to witness an uncompromising battle. But before we continue, don't forget to share your thoughts and hit the subscribe button to follow more inspiring stories in the future. Amara Jones, 35 years old, is a talented and determined black lawyer known for her unwavering commitment to justice. She not only excels in lawsuits but also impresses with her dedication to the community. Born and raised in a family that values education and fairness, Amara was instilled with the belief that justice is not something that comes easily but something that must be fought for. She carries this belief with her, using her intellect and courage to protect the vulnerable and confront injustice in society. With a strong belief in the fair values her parents instilled in her, Amara became an outstanding lawyer at just 28 years old, always standing up for justice and protecting those who suffer from injustice, especially in the black community. Now, at 35, she is not only a devoted mother but also a strong role model for her son, James. That day was special for her. It was James' 10th birthday. With the intention of giving her son a meaningful evening, Amara took James to the supermarket to buy food for a small celebration. The two of them walked and talked excitedly, with James telling her about the cake he wanted and his favorite foods. The trip was simply to prepare for his birthday, but no one expected that this joy would soon be overshadowed by an unexpected and challenging incident, leading Amara into an unwanted confrontation. That afternoon, in the parking lot of a convenience store, as Amara and James were putting grocery bags into the trunk, a police car stopped right beside them. It was Rick Morgan, a 45-year-old white police officer, stepping out of the car with sharp eyes, carefully watching their every move. He was known in the area, but not for good reasons. Many people in town referred to him as the tough cop, a man who always paid special attention to those who were not natives, particularly black people. "Hey, what are you and your son doing here?" Rick asked, his voice full of suspicion, his gaze fixed on Amara. Amara, unfazed, calmly replied, "We just finished shopping. These are our things." But Officer Rick Morgan, with an unchanged expression, continued to show suspicion. "Let me see your ID." "You look very suspicious," he demanded, his voice clearly holding prejudice. His eyes scanned over Amara and her son as if they were people to be distrusted. Amara did not let the tension shake her determination. She responded firmly, "I don't know why you're suspicious of me. I'm a citizen with rights, and I haven't done anything wrong. If you don't have a valid reason, I won't give you my papers." Rick Morgan snorted and muttered, "Who do you think you are? A black woman daring to stand here obstructing the police?" He looked at Amara with disdain, as if she had no value. Amara, sensing the clear discrimination in the officer's words and behavior, could no longer remain silent. "You're imposing your wrongful prejudices on me just because of my skin color. I have the right to be treated equally. No one has the right to judge me without a legitimate reason." Rick Morgan wasn't giving up and grew even angrier. "You're really arrogant. Don't you understand what I'm doing? I'm the one who decides here, not you. If you don't comply, I'll arrest you right now." At this moment, James, Amara's 10-year-old son, stood by her side, tears streaming down his face. He clutched his mother's shirt tightly, his gaze fixed on the white officer, his voice trembling. "Sir, I'm sorry. Please don't arrest my mom and me." Amara bent down, looking deep into her son's worried eyes. She gently comforted him but spoke with unwavering conviction. "James, you must not be afraid. You have value and deserve respect. Never give in to evil. I will always protect you, but you also need to know how to stand up for yourself." James looked up at his mother, his eyes gradually lighting up with strength, as if he had found power in her unwavering resolve. Amara's words only made Rick Morgan angrier. He pointed at Amara and her son, his voice filled with defiance. "You and the boy are coming with me to the station right now. Don't think I don't know what you're up to. Don't oppose me." Blood boiled in Amara's veins, but she didn't let her emotions take over. She was not afraid because she understood that this was an opportunity to teach this officer a lesson he would never forget. He tightened the handcuffs on her and dragged her and her son toward the police car. James cried uncontrollably, but Amara remained silent, offering no resistance. She gently looked at her son, her eyes full of resolve. "Let's go, my love. Let's see what happens tonight. We'll still blow out the birthday candles, and I promise I'll make you some delicious fried chicken." Her words were calm but laced with a subtle challenge to Rick, as well as a way to comfort and pass on her strength and resilience to her son. While Rick thought he had the upper hand, Amara knew this was just the beginning of her battle. She silently thought to herself, "All right, I'll play your game, but you'll pay for this." Her words weren't just sarcastic, they were a firm declaration that she would never accept injustice or abuse of power. She knew she had to stand firm not just for herself but also for her son and others who would face similar injustices in the future. When the police car stopped in front of the station, Amara showed no signs of worry. She was taken out of the car and led inside, walking with steady and resolute steps. She knew this was not the place to kneel or cower in the face of injustice. Immediately, the officer took her into a small, cramped holding room furnished with only a table, a few hard chairs, and cold gray walls. The air in the room was stale and musty, and the dim light seemed to want to snuff out all hope. She sat in the chair, her hands cuffed, but her eyes showed no fear. While she felt some anxiety about the upcoming interrogation, she understood that this was her chance to speak out, to stand up for the truth. At that moment, James was separated and taken to another room, but Amara knew her son would be safe. After all, he was only 10 years old, and no one would dare harm a child. He was innocent and the only one left who could reflect the events with innocent sincerity. In the holding room, Amara was interrogated for hours. The constant barrage of questions from the officers seemed designed to push her into a corner, but she refused to let her persistence and resilience be shaken. They tried to force her to admit that she had obstructed Officer Rick Morgan's duties, but she firmly maintained that she was only defending her and her son's rights. Finally, after hours of tense questioning, an officer announced that she would have to go to court on charges of obstructing justice. For many, that moment would have been terrifying. Almost everyone would have sought a good lawyer to defend them, knowing they were about to face a difficult battle. But Amara was different. There was no trace of fear in her eyes. She smiled softly, as if preparing for an impending victory. It was the smile of determination, of faith in justice. When Amara was brought to court, where the judge and everyone else were present, the room went silent as soon as she walked in as the defendant. Some people began to recognize her, as she was a talented lawyer, and most of them knew her face. Many of them couldn't hide their shock and disbelief at seeing her in that situation, especially since she had always appeared in the formal attire of a successful lawyer. They couldn't believe their eyes seeing the woman they knew as one of the top lawyers now standing in front of the court as a defendant. A sense of surprise spread throughout the room, but Amara remained confident. She didn't look at them with worry but with eyes full of resolve, as if everything had already been arranged. It seemed like she knew exactly what she would do next. Judge William Carter began the proceedings. He started with the usual questions, requesting both sides to present their evidence and arguments. The atmosphere in the room grew tenser as time passed. At the decisive moment, when everyone had made their predictions about the outcome, Amara stood up, her eyes unwavering and full of confidence. "Your Honor, I am an attorney," she said, her voice resonating throughout the courtroom, "and I will represent myself." Unfazed, Amara began her defense with the poise of a talented black female lawyer. Amara presented sharp arguments and irrefutable evidence. She demonstrated that the case was not a misunderstanding but rather an act of slander, racial discrimination, and abuse of power by Officer Rick Morgan. She dissected every detail of the case, from the officer's words and actions to the obstruction of her and her son's legal rights, leaving no loopholes. She persuaded the judge and the jury with clear evidence and sound reasoning, making it impossible for anyone to deny the truth. Finally, when Amara concluded her defense, the atmosphere in the room seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the result. Judge William Carter and everyone present recognized that she had exposed the officer's abuse of power. There was no denying it anymore. Officer Rick Morgan was charged with slander and abuse of power. He stood frozen, his expression no longer one of smugness but of confusion and shame as he faced the truth. With these charges, it was certain that Officer Rick Morgan would face consequences, potentially dismissal or suspension from the police department. In the end, Amara won the case, but the most important thing to her now was holding her son tightly. She bent down, gently wiping away the tears from Jame's small face and smiled. "We've had a very special birthday, my dear. This is the day you learn the value of justice and courage." As she walked out of the courtroom, Amara was not just a mother who had protected her son but also a symbol of strength and resilience in the face of injustice. Her story quickly spread, becoming an inspiration to many. The people in the community, especially those who had witnessed the injustices she had faced, felt proud and admired her courage. Amara's story ended with an important message: no one has the right to degrade you because of your skin color or social standing. Amara showed us that no matter who you are, you can control your destiny and defend the values you believe in. It is a reminder that justice is not always easily attained, but if you are brave and determined enough, you can change the world, even if it's just one small step. Thank you for following Amara's story. We hope it empowers you, reminding you that no matter how great the challenges are, you can overcome them and triumph. Don't forget to share this story, and if it resonates with you, leave your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe to our channel to continue sharing stories about courage, justice, and resilience in life. This story is entirely fictional and created for the purpose of raising awareness. It emphasizes issues of responsibility, justice, and the importance of treating everyone with respect and dignity. We firmly oppose violence, prejudice, and injustice in all forms. Viewers are encouraged to consider carefully when watching.